Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Neeson. Welcome to Hotspot Weather on this 15th of May 2025. This is a very active Thursday and we're headed into a very active weekend. And on Hotspot Weather, we focus in on some of those weather hotspots across the country. And look, I know there are a lot of weather channels here on YouTube. You could be visiting and spending time. I appreciate you spending some time right here with me. And let's focus in on where these weather hotspots will be already on the 15th. On this Thursday, we have severe weather ongoing across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes with a risk of not only severe weather but tornadoes as well. And then as we head into Friday into the weekend, that shifts down to the south and east. And again, we're going to be seeing a risk of severe weather, including high winds, hail, and tornadoes. And we've got much more to go even after the weekend is over. Another significant system coming in with more risks of severe weather. I'll be covering all here as we go through this forecast. All right, starting off with the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for severe weather across the country. This is for the 15th, Thursday, and you see this level 3 out of 5 risk across the upper Midwest. That's where it's ongoing on this Thursday from the Great Lakes, Michigan back into Wisconsin. And then we have a level 2 out of 5 that extends all the way back down into Arkansas and a level 1 out of 5 around that. As we head into your Friday, we continue to see the significant risk of severe weather with a level 4 out of 5 risk highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center across the Ohio River Valley near the confluence of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers here. And we also see outside of that a level 3 out of 5 risk from West Virginia back down into Tennessee. This may be expanded. This moderate risk, the level 4 out of 5, may be expanded a little bit to include more of Tennessee as we head into Friday. We'll see how that develops. But really the risk of severe weather on Friday, at least a 1 or a 2 level, extends from the northeast all the way back down into Texas. Now with this risk on Friday, here is the risk right now for the chance of a strong tornado. That black hatched area, that is where the Storm Prediction Center is saying there's at least a 10% chance of an EF2 or stronger tornado across this region within 25 miles of any one point. So everybody in this region, really everybody in all of these outlook areas that I'm going to be covering for the next few days, make sure you have your severe weather safety plan in place and ready to go. All right, as we work into day 3, the severe weather risk continues in really 2 pockets, a level 2 out of 5, a slight risk for the northeast back into the middle Atlantic, and then again across Arkansas back into Oklahoma and Texas with a level 1 extending through the deep south. But as we head into the weekend and out of the weekend into next week, it continues. This is for Sunday. You can see a risk of severe weather in the plains. As we head into Monday, it shifts a little farther east, but still anchored in the plains. And then on Tuesday, yet another risk of severe weather being painted already from Texas through Arkansas, Missouri into Illinois, and that will likely shift eastward after that. So again, multiple days, multiple areas, multiple modes of severe weather. Everybody in these areas needs to be paying attention to the weather. All right, let's take a look at what's going on in the jet stream. That's part of what's really fueling all of the severe weather, along with warmth and moisture, instability from the Gulf. We've got very, very strong areas, energized areas of the jet stream. This is what's coming into the upper Midwest on the 15th. And you can see as we go through the 15th into the 16th, we see that kind of split into 2 main areas, one across the upper Midwest and then this very strong area, Missouri back into Illinois and Indiana. That's what energizes the atmosphere along with the instability to give us the chance of tornadoes on Friday. And then as we head into Saturday, that begins to shift to the east, although we still have energy across the Atlantic coast, the upper Great Lakes, and then back into parts of Texas. And then as we head into Sunday and Monday, this is the new wave, the new trough that's coming in with a lot of jet stream energy. That's what gives us our chances of severe weather back over the plains again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gradually shifting eastward as the week progresses. So we've got a lot of wind shear as well because the winds at the surface are coming in at a different angle and direction than the winds in the upper levels, which creates the shear in the atmosphere combined with that instability to give us those chances for significant severe weather, hail, high winds, and also those tornadoes. So let's break it down with what the GFS, the Global Forecast System, is calling for. This is on the 15th, on Thursday. There's your surface area of low pressure. And we've got those thunderstorms spinning up and headed through the Great Lakes in this arc. I'll cover that here in just a moment a little closer. Then that spins off toward the east, and on Friday, it starts to refocus back over the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, and that's where we see that severe risk increasing, and it comes in multiple waves across the deep south here into Tennessee, back into Kentucky, northern Mississippi, and northern Alabama. And then as we head into Saturday and into the weekend, you can see it kind of focuses, it stalls. The surface front stalls out over Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, gives us a focusing area along with that jet stream energy for more showers and thunderstorms to develop. But our new storm system comes out of the Rockies into the plains with those new thunderstorms as we work into your Sunday night and Monday that gradually shifts off toward the east. And we're going to see these really forming over and over and over from Texas to Tennessee. Texas to Tennessee, multiple waves of these thunderstorms. A little closer inspection. First of all, what's happening on Thursday the 15th as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Again, this is a severe arc of thunderstorms spinning through the Great Lakes. This is at 6 o'clock in the evening on Thursday the 15th. Any of these thunderstorms could be severe with the risk of not only the hail and high winds, but tornadoes. Then thunderstorms start to develop a little farther south as we go through the overnight hours. This is at 8 o'clock. But really, Chicago, it looks like this is all blowing through your area sometime between about 7 and 9 p.m. That's going to see the biggest risk of severe weather there, and then extending north of there into the Great Lakes as we go through the overnight Thursday night and then into Friday morning. It's crossing across the rest of Michigan as we head into the overnight Thursday night and early Friday, so it's going to be a bumpy night for much of Michigan, including areas like Marquette, including Detroit. Just be ready for severe weather really during the evening and overnight Thursday night into Friday the 16th. Then, as we head into Friday deeper, we start to see the refocusing of the thunderstorms down to the south with the southern end of that system. And let's take a look at that. This is on Thursday night at 10 o'clock, the thunderstorms up to the north. And then as we head into the overnight hours, a few thunderstorms will be possible across West Tennessee up into Kentucky as we go through the overnight. This is at 3 o'clock in the morning. New storms developing back over Arkansas. And again, that surface front's kind of laying like this. So the most active weather still across parts of the Great Lakes into Michigan. On the north side of it, redeveloping with some big thunderstorms firing across parts of Arkansas. And then that system moves off toward the east. Nashville, you can see here, this is 7 a.m. on Friday, the 16th. There will be a risk of severe weather really from about Bowling Green, Kentucky, and along the Ohio River to the north of there, back down into the Nashville area, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Franklin, Tennessee, also back to Centerville, Tennessee. This is Friday morning. That's just wave one, though, because more thunderstorms develop back to the west across parts of Missouri and Arkansas as we go into the afternoon on the 16th, which is Friday. And then that expands and moves off toward the northeast. This is when we're going to have the highest levels of instability. This is where we're going to have the risk of the biggest thunderstorms across the Ohio River Valley, including Paducah, Kentucky, back into Bowling Green, Lexington, moving toward Louisville as the day wears on Friday. And then a massive line of thunderstorms forms. This is at 9 p.m. on Friday the 16th along the Ohio River, back into the Boot Heel of Missouri, and then back around Little Rock, Arkansas, approaching Jonesboro. And then during the overnight hours, Friday night into early Saturday, this is at midnight, Friday night, early Saturday, a big area of thunderstorms. Any of these could be severe across Kentucky, extending down into Tennessee, and then that shifts off toward the east as we go through the day, really in the early morning hours in the first part of Saturday. That's where we see a better chance of thunderstorms across areas of around Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. And there could be some redevelopment during the afternoon as we go into your Saturday here. So that's kind of breaking it down how this is all going to be developing first across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, and then as we head through your Friday and Friday night across the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. So let's take a look at what's called updraft helicity. This is where the individual updrafts of these storms will be rotating and potentially creating a condition right for tornadoes. Don't get caught up in the minutia of this, but just know this is the HRRR computer model, and it's highlighting that some of the thunderstorms will likely be rotating to produce tornadoes across Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, in that moderate risk area for your Friday. And the computer models are still really high on the potential for some of those thunderstorms to produce tornadoes. So again, have your severe weather safety plan in place. Now, once we get through this system, we've got more systems coming in next week and highlighting a risk that we're going to be seeing some very heavy rainfall potentially by about a week from now as we head in through the next few days with all of these clusters of thunderstorms with heavy rains moving across the same areas. Computer models are forecasting across West Virginia, back into Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, parts of Tennessee, some very heavy amounts of rainfall. Again, this is over about the next 7 to 9 days. We could be seeing rainfall amounts anywhere from about 2.5 inches to around 8 inches to 9 inches of rain in this general area. So just keep that in mind as well. The weather will be very active. Be sure to stay tuned to any watches and warnings that are issued for your particular area, and we'll be watching it here. If you want help formulating your severe weather safety plan, take a look at this video, and also on my YouTube shorts I have lots of fascinating facts about tornadoes and also more tornado safety tips there. Stay safe.